All right, we're live.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the August board meeting for the continuing committee. I am Christopher Sonsby, the current chair and the director of organized play. And from my right to left, I have Maggie Gippert, the XO, Justin Ford, our financial officer, Brian Schaeflein, our director of ops, and TJ Ott, our director of second edition. Today, Charlie Plain, our director of first edition, will not be here, but he has provided me with a quick update on where things are at for first edition. So our first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from July. Did anybody have a chance to read those? Any issues or questions with them?
I'll motion to approve them.
Okay.
I'll second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. The minutes from last month are approved. Maggie, you want to get us fired off with our first department report?
Sure. I have been working, the big thing I've been working on this since the last meeting has been finishing up assembling all of the organized play promos, because we did a second run once we got more paper. So the promenade's all restocked. The last thing I got to do is finish out the second set of Masters promos, but all the World's promos are done. Continental's promos were done and shipped. We had a little snafu with that for the TUI Euros. So apologies to the Castle crew for the mix-up on addresses. And then also Charlie and I both were working on getting the all of the contests we've had recently that didn't have the prizes pulled or shipped. We got that done. So that actually went all the way back to 2021, unfortunately. And there's going to be, I'm trying to write in a small article, just letting people know who won all that we pulled the winners for all of these different contests, who won what, and that many people have already should have already received their prizes in the mail. We're still we're waiting for the borderless promos to make their way from the old warehouse to the new warehouse so we can finish out all of those shipments. So those are the big things I've been working on, besides general sort of play testing and running the online release for the menagerie and stuff like that. So that's what I've been up to.
It's a great report, and I know that's good. Kind of jumping ahead, but we do have that down at the old business. It's the printable promo update. It sounds like you and Charlie are all caught up for the most part. Is that correct?
Oh yeah. Now I'll get Charlie was the one who did make sure that all the files got over to the website in the hands of people who needed them. He did all the organization for this one last time, and from here on out I'll be managing that. It looks like we've got everything caught up, and we don't have anything, as far as we know, we don't have it. We've got nothing listed for release coming up this Monday, September the 5th. We've got nothing. Everything's been released. We just went ahead and did anything that was going to be done then. So the next printable promo release should be March, whatever the first Monday in March is, and I will be watching that like a hawk. And I think we have, I'll have to check, double check with Marcus. But I think we do have all of the files, or we'll check in, make sure we have all the files for those between now and March.
Perfect. I apologize. I read the wrong line. The Chair's Challenge, it sounds like, is what you're handling, right? This was related to last year's Chair Challenge.
Yes, yeah. The prizes were from last year's Chair's Challenge, and also March Madness and some other contest that was very early in 2021 that I honestly don't remember it, but Charlie did. So yay.
Well, that's perfect that we have two items on the old business on our agenda that are now, sounds like basically strike. They're finally done and don't have to keep carrying over to next month and next month. So great job, Maggie and Charlie, for taking care of that stuff. Jumping down next is the first edition update. And as I mentioned, Charlie sent me a list For first edition, his first note is that Paradise Lost is out. That the first edition team is hoping the players are excited to try the con and sidebox decks and teach other people how those work and learn kind of with all of us how different those decks function and you know, kind of just give you some new fun stuff to do in a non-aligned sphere. The project was a long time coming, and generally speaking, it sounds like the Department of First Edition is very happy to get it out. The next set up for them is going to be a TNG movie set, which is largely based off of Nemesis, but there'll be cards from other TNG movies. This is currently codenamed Project Solo, if you were paying attention to that. And it's fairly far along in the process. I can kind of see some of the first edition stuff, and I feel like it's on, you know, the 7th, 8th, 9th kind of playtest wave. So those cards are looking really cool too. Give you some fun stuff to do with remans, which we haven't really explored much in the first edition. The next note from Charlie is that next year it looks like they're going to have an AU and Q Continuum expansion. They'll have a Delta Quadrant expansion and a TNG Cardassian expansion with a few more surprises thrown in. So he's trying to tease a lot of extra things that are coming out for the first edition. And I guess the other two notes kind of tied together, noting that the first edition team would like to apologize to the community, particularly the German players that were affected by their errata that came out between North American Continentals and Euro Continentals. And obviously that any upset feelings or hurt feelings were unintentional, and that the balance team will try to be more mindful of that going forward. It was, my understanding was entirely a set of stuff that had planned to come out in July, hopefully before the Continentals had started, and it just kind of fell into August. So unfortunately, it fell in between the time period of the two. And as a result, the team is they're aware of and discussing the impressive deck that Peter put together in one Kaiser Fest with. If you're not aware, Peter came up with kind of a new old deck that effectively won on the first turn in first edition. And that's kind of very surprising. That was something that felt like it was back out of 2001, 2002, a big STP drop. And while it's likely, though not yet decided, there may be some kind of temporary action against that deck that'll come out in September. Which is, if you've noticed, the MPOC NOR and STP were both added to the watch list, which is usually that kind of indicator that something might happen there. And they're generally speaking looking at longer term solutions for the issue, and maybe that's some type of OTF limit on report with crew. I guess I don't really know, I'm speculating, so don't take that Charlie's word. I'm just more thinking that the big question is OTF an environment where you should be able to win on the first turn? That's more of a philosophical question on one side. But those are Charlie's notes for his department. And as mentioned in Maggie's, Charlie says that all the overdue prizes have been handed off, and everything in general has been sorted out on those two action items from further down in the agenda. Again, kind of paraphrasing Charlie a little bit with a little bit of my own knowledge of the organized play side of things. So if you have questions, feel free to reach out to Charlie. Jumping down next is second edition, TJ.
Yes, so I wasn't be on the job for a while for private thing I have to take care of, but Richard updated me. So yes, we had the last set, Menagerie, and I was not too much involved in making it run. I did play testing and working on the set, but not with the production. So I first thank Richard and our team and all others involved to make that set run in my absence. And yeah, what's next? At the moment, Project Justice is in playtesting. I think it's version D at the moment. It's about 18 cards. This set is a mixed set, so a kind of rainbow set. And I had time to look this week, and I hope we get a new version, an updated version for testers within the next 2 weeks. That is the next set coming. It depends. The timeline a little bit depends on Worlds. I guess Worlds it's in October. So this will be in timeline the next set. Then we have the 15th anniversary set, Project Crystal, and that should be the second in line, but a little bit depends on timeline because the 15th anniversary set is connected to a certain date, so it's not sure whether Justice is coming next or Crystal. Crystal is in play testing 2, but it's just the first version, and maybe Crystal gets priority. That are the next 2 sets planned for 2022. Then I hope in first quarter of maybe end of first quarter of 2023 we can go to playtesting with the new affiliations, obedience. I hope. As far as I know, it is mind games and cards are in, so I'm pretty sure we can make the set run in 2023. But I hope to go to playtesting with obedience in the end of first quarter 2023. We have 2 other minor sets as a backup we are working on. One set is already ready, is Project Shackleton. Is a set about missions. This is the next set going to playtesting, whether Justice or Crystal has finished playtesting. So that will come, and then we have other side projects to close the gap. We want to get away from the double cards of Earth and Toss and Earth icons, and producing a new set that compensates a little bit lags. That will happen then. Yeah, that's the projects for the end of the year and beginning of next year. Yeah.
Great, thanks, TJ. Very interesting things for a second edition. I'll be curious to see how that. I know exactly what you're talking about. Where you're TOS, but you're also Earth, meaning you can basically skip timelines, right? You want to just turn those cards into either TOS cards or Earth cards. I'm guessing. Is that right?
Exactly. We did it with Kirk, and that gives more options to designer that are not too many. For new sets, we avoid to give double icons, but we want to get all cards done, whether Torse or Earth icons, but then some cards are less useful or useless. So we want to compensate that, and with a little set as a planning, but that takes time, but it is still in the pipe that we want to do it. Yeah, that is one of the things I want to do a little bit. Maybe another thing I want to do, but we did not have the time, not the manpower, is a little bit taking care of KCA, because KCA, I think it's not at the optimal stage, but we are looking for the best solutions, what we can do for KCA, but that's more a mid-term thing. Yeah.
Okay. Great. Jumping down to the Department of Communications. First of all, I think everyone who's watching these knows that we have formally accepted Scott's resignation at last month's meeting. However, I take responsibility. I think we dropped the ball on actually announcing that. There was no article that announced that Scott's no longer on the board. And I did some looking this morning. Historically, that the director of communications was the one who would post those, so that makes it a little bit of an interesting quagmire that's the position that is no longer being filled on the board. So I'll take care of that, or Maggie will take care of that. Somebody will make sure that we get on the ball and take care of that the announcement showing he's resigned is out, and then we'll get another article probably a week or so later up that's announcing we're looking for new applicants. That is certainly something we need to add to board and get that position filled. I know that we have continually stressed that Daniel Madison down in Florida has been doing a terrific job on an interim basis, but we also don't want him to have to feel like he's just kind of interim forever, that person. So I don't have anything else to add on the communication side. I don't know if Maggie does, or if anybody else has anything to jump in and say on comms. If not, we can jump down to ops. That's Brian.
Actually, I can say that the ambassadors should all have received their promos for the year now. If any ambassadors are out there watching this and would like their complimentary ambassador promos, please reach out to me. We will put them in, we'll put an order in for the warehouse. So you can also post up just on the ambassador board. So those of you who are still ambassadoring, please check in with our chief ambassador, Robin Honeycutt. So I always want to call him Robin Bielefeld because that's another Robin who I've met, but he's in Minnesota.
Correct. That's my Robin. You have your New York
That's your
Robin.
Robin. Yeah. So I almost goofed on that.
Can you remind people what this year's ambassador promos are? Let's sell it a little bit.
Oh, sure. I am happy to do that since this is the year of Dominion. Our ambassador promos are all Haynock. So we've got Haynock. Now we've got a nice shiny high-res version, AI version of Haynock for first edition and second edition. And then it is, I believe it's one of the exchanges this year. I forget which one for Tribbles, but it also has Haynock on it. I think it's the
100.
I think it's the missile surrounded by Tribbles. I can't remember, but yeah. So it's
I don't know if I can. No, my background doesn't
no,
want me to show it.
there
to
you
you,
go. There you
sorry.
go. Yeah, yeah. It's that moment after the missile hits the ship where he's like, ah. I also learned a trivia the other day. James Cromwell is the tallest person to ever be nominated for an Academy Award. So there's your useless trivia for today. But he's not the tallest person to win one because I don't think he won the year he was nominated.
That is an interestingly useless fact that I am going to immediately go search how tall he is. Thanks. I got to get that out of my brain. I feel like I'm going every other person, but now, Brian, you are up. You are up for ops.
Not a lot to report from ops. Maggie said we've got a bunch of stuff in the shipping queue right now for prize support or raffle, not raffle. What was the right word I'm looking for here?
Contest prizes.
Contest prizes. There we go. So a bunch of those waiting to go out. First, I needed to wait for USPS to get me some shipping supplies. And now that I've gotten those yesterday, some more will go out. And what else?
What shipping supplies do you need? Because I ordered them for Dan last time off Amazon and got them a lot cheaper, I think.
Yeah, that's what I did. Don't worry about it. I got them. What else do we got? Marcus and Rogue put out the achievements for the 2 new sets, Menagerie and Paradise Lost. And I didn't quite beat my hope of getting the reward store in place for testing before this meeting. So I'm thinking there's a very good chance it will be before the next one. Other than that, I don't think much is going on with ops. So I think that's it.
Great. I mean, ops and financials are like the two ones I hope are not going on. When things are going on in ops, I just assume bad, or I broke something, which I did yesterday, as Brian.
The website still works. The sets appeared to launch without any problems. We're good.
Great. Organized play, that's me again. As most of you know, organized play is in that time of year where a lot of stuff's happening. We have our regionals winding down. We had some regionals that finished in Fargo, over in the UK. Justin finished his regionals too up in Washington. Between the last meeting and now, the online finals wrapped up. And we have had regular tournaments kind of popping up all over, which is great to see. It's great to see people getting back and playing. Maggie continues to run her online Tribbles events on Tuesday nights. For a shameless plug there, if anybody is bored on Tuesday nights, wants to drink with Jules at 4 a.m, or Maggie at 9 p.m., jump on online Tribbles. And the big thing in the organized play world that has happened was North American Continentals. I think everybody but TJ was at Fantasy Flight that's on this call for the North American Continentals that happened in July, and then TJ and company had their European Continentals there in August. Those were really well attended. We had probably a dozen players or more, I think, at all of those events, and a lot of traveling players, which is really good to see. For some reason, I think traveling players outnumbered the Minnesota players in town, which was cool to see, but weird at the same time. It felt like we had a lot of invaders, but it's great to see Maggie and Justin and Brian in person. Jumping down to what's kind of upcoming in organized play.
Oh,
we got-
Chris, can I say one thing about
Yeah, go ahead.
Kudos to Kevin Yeager for his awesome play-by-play. Thank you for coming all the way out from South Dakota just to do that and not actually play anything but Tribbles. So thanks, Kevin, for the great video and audio. And also, I haven't watched the streams from Kaiserfest, but I've heard there was good streams from Kaiserfest. More trouble with the German internet for the 2 Euros, but I love that we finally have the technology and the know-how where people can stream games live regularly.
Absolutely, yes. I would be very remiss if I didn't mention how much I love that Big Kev came out and did that. The only reason I skipped it was my dog is attacking my kitten, so I had to turn my microphone off. That's what people are probably hearing in the background. And he actually knows which one is which. So yeah, Big Kev and I had talked leading up to it. We were not sure who was going to play and what. We kind of played paper, rock, scissors. Kev said, I'd rather run 1E and then he let me play in it. And that led to, I think, some great, like you said, those games that were streamed. I've watched them, which over my workday, even Maggie's game with Hayes opening up, that was a really interesting kind of down to the wire final match. And then I think all throughout the entire weekend, it seemed like there are a lot of great streams. And yes, I agree. I've heard very good things about Kaiserfest stream too, even though those games were obviously pretty quick when Peter was on camera. But again, kudos to Johannes and for doing the stream as well, and to Peter for a great deck design. No one at all is saying that there's any issue with Peter's ingenuity in his deck or taking away from his win. It's more just question of should that exist right now, right? Like the mad scientist came up with something else and broke it, so we should maybe look at it. But again, terrific job all around on those streams. I know I've watched my own games and mistakes I've made, so I'm sure some of us else might be critiquing our own on-camera play for those various tournaments, but if not, just go watch them. They're cool games to watch. Where was I? Oh, upcoming stuff. We got American Nationals coming up. We got UK Nationals coming up. Regionals are winding down. There's some online regionals, some other in-person regionals that are still firing off. And then, the giant elephant in the room is Worlds, right? Worlds is coming up here in a month, and that will be down in Orlando. Down in the new business, I guess I'm going to add to that. Maggie and I have talked offline about the Chairs Challenge, and we will start talking about that once we get through Justin's reports on financials. So Justin, you want to jump in and talk about that first?
Yeah, not much action going on, which is good. Purchases obviously been minimal. We haven't needed to buy much stuff. Looking at July, it was pretty much just the 3 standard monthly operating expenses, your stamps.com monthly fee, Zoom charge, and our website, of course, which is the most expensive. And then we had a small foil printing order. So not much action there, which is always good. Finishing up the quarterly update, it should be up on the forums here by midday. So take a look at the forums here towards the end of the day this afternoon. And for asking questions, peruse it, post your concerns if you have any, and we'll address them. Look to the forums for this afternoon for the quarterly update.
Great, thanks, Justin. On our agenda, we had old business, which was the principal promo updates and the Chairs Challenge. I think Maggie already touched on that. If you missed it, please rewind the stream and watch your report in the XO section that started it. For new business, if I forgot any on the agenda, please jump in, folks attending the meeting here. But I just want to remind everybody, number one, that bidding for high-level events, as we're coming to the conclusion of the Road to Worlds with the World Championships in October, there's no such things as bidding too early and too often. I know I've talked to in-person MVB, and I think there's some interest in running a Canadian Nationals again next year. Or Justin, maybe you mentioned that. I know that there was talk at Continentals about high-level events and where can we get them and who hasn't had one in a while. And I just want to always remind people to, reach out to your continental coordinator, whether that's myself for Australia, whether that's MVB in North America or Jules in Europe, or even online. If you want to have something online that's a high level event, please reach out to John Carter as soon as possible, and then we can kind of start filling in that calendar as we go. The last thing, I guess, first and foremost, anybody else have any new business that I'm skipping over? We're kind of going pretty quick today.
Well, I was just thinking about during your organized play, league season is coming up, and I have some ideas for league promos, and I need to put it on my to-do list to get those ideas. Also, we've settled on promos, OP promos and ambassador promos for next year, so I will be asking creative for some images and fresh lore for the 2E cards. And so that'll be moving soon, but we did have some ideas for league promos for this year. So I got to get on that because it totally slipped my mind just this moment here.
I thought we were going to just redo some of the harder ones from before, right? Isn't that the main thing?
Yeah, we're probably going to reprint, I think, Series B for first edition, Series 5, I think, for second edition, because we have files for that. And then I had an idea of there's a number of Tribbles promos we have not released because they received errata. And so like when we printed promos for the Tribble of a different color set, we just used the PDF for that, but the PDF has the original text, the 50,000 Tribbles points, 50,000 Tribbles score on laughter and generosity. So we never released laughter and generosity foils because those have the wrong denomination on them. So I'm gonna ask Andrea to make a sheet with the sabotage, Bizbin, generosity, laughter, and I think a couple of the Troubles, because we've never released any Troubles as promos for Tribbles. So I think that's what we're gonna do.
Tribbles are amazing, by the way. They make the game fun. Especially
That's an opinion.
I was going to say that's an opinion.
Our record on Mannheim, we 5-man Tribbles, 4 players decked themselves with Mannheim. It was hilarious.
I don't feel like that's my definition of Tribbles fun, but if it's yours, great. Good for you.
And the flipping in the Vix Lounge, flipping the deck upside down, that's always a hoot.
Harder to do in Lackey though. We pulled that when on the rare occasions on Tuesday night Tribbles when we play with Troubles, when somebody wants to get achievements, Trouble achievements, we pull Vix Lounge out because you can't do it in Lackey. It really doesn't work. All right, no, but that was it. I just wanted to mostly remind myself about league promos, so I've made a little note here.
Yeah, and you mentioned the organized play promos. Next year is the year of the Ferengi, and we've had a number of good suggestions that have come out of the 1E side, the 2E side. Organized play has kicked in some ideas. The ambassador promos, I think, are all nailed down, right? I want to say that's the one that's for sure done, and I mean we're very close. It wasn't like we're starting at scratch. It's just kind of which slot is where something's going to go, or like coin toss between a couple of different cards in certain spots. So I feel like the regionals ones are done off the top of my head, so that we can get started on that. Then you buy yourself some more time for the other ones to make sure.
Yeah, my my to-do list has had talked to creative about OP images for the last week or so. So that has been on my radar. Yeah,
Gotcha.
and it is a literal, as I've mentioned before on these meetings, it is a literal to-do list. There's one that happens every day.
And as all the type A people can attest to, crossing it off the list is the most satisfying thing ever when it's on the to-do list. Well, I guess the last thing I have to mention, I mean, my dog doesn't want to interfere, is that we have the Chairs Challenge. That's going to be coming up at World's time. Maggie, I appreciate the reminder. I thought about it, and so this year being the year of the Dominion, and if you've been paying attention at all to our organized play promos this year, we went by species. It was, I think Jem had already started, then we did Vorta, and then we did Founders. So the Chairs Challenge, as it be released, will be effectively what I'm calling kind of we all serve. It will be Dominion themed Dominion player achievement decks that use every single affiliation that you, or race, I guess, depending on how you classify it, that you can use for first and for second edition. I actually wrote down there are 8 different affiliations or species that you can play in first edition, and even more than that in second edition. So we'll be looking for decks that for first edition or for second edition that have everybody you can have. And that means, yes, that does mean in 2E, I want to see your Mugi and your Ferengi, your Mugi Ferengi species in your Dominion deck. I want to see Quark in your 1E deck. And the idea there will be, as always, Chairs Challenges are issued for players who cannot attend the World Championships, who want a chance to win those World's foils. And as Maggie touched on, our World's foils this year are Ultimatum for first edition, Penetrate Enemy Lines, which is a gorgeous card. Terrific job to ER team. Not that Ultimatum is bad, but and then the last one is 10K Swarms. So this year it's kind of just lots of Dominion ships and battle themed vibe for those World's foils for the 3 games. I didn't tell anybody about this leading up to this, but I've got a little bit of a pot sweetener. If you happen to play a first edition or second edition Chairs Challenge deck at Worlds, where I am going to be, show me your Mugis and your Quarks or whatever to tell me that it's actually legal, and I will be awarding a special prize. I have some Fajo's Gallery lores that I will be giving out, and I have some Reflections lore foils from 2E that I will be giving out. So if you happen to play specifically that Chairs Challenge deck at Worlds, either in the World Championships or a side event, you will get a special prize day of from me. So just hopefully people enjoy it. Look for the article, it'll go up here soon. Announcing it, the window I think is probably going to be roughly the same, because Worlds is around the same time as it was last year. I think last year's Chairs Challenge ran from like mid-September to the weekend after Worlds, I believe is how long it goes. So it's about 5 weeks, roughly 6 weeks time frame. And as I alluded to, we'll be getting that article up announcing it soon. Oh, I forgot. For Tribbles, Maggie and I just figured this out. We're going to do mutate, replicate, clone. Was that right? Is that the 3 I said? I think so. Basically something shape-shifting themed for the Tribbles side.
Yeah. Oh, if you're encouraging all the species, though, if you want to make it harder for the 2E folks, you should ban the Cardassian Dominion headquarters. You should ban the new Dominion headquarters.
Well, I've got foils to give away. I mean, if they got to, right? TJ knows that they made a card that punches Dominion in the face. If they want to run into that dilemma 3 times at Worlds, have at it. And again, you still got to use the crappy Mugi and the crappy Osha and the crappy Karema. You got to have those clowns in your deck to make it work. We'll see. If we'll watch, MVB will break it, and then he'll get all my foils because he's a jerk. On that note, making fun of MVB. Anybody have anything else to add for new business? Justin's laughing, so I'm assuming no. All right, are we just about done for the board meeting? I don't think I've seen any questions. I don't think I've seen anything, and I'm probably looking in the wrong place. Anybody see forum? Oh boy, that's a dog.
No, I don't see any questions either on Discord or on the YouTube stream.
In
Let's
that
see.
case, I will motion
Forums.
to adjourn.
Yeah, Toast is moving to adjourn. Yeah, no questions on the forum either.
All right, Brian actually motioned to adjourn. Brian's ready to go enjoy the rest of his summer day too. So in that case, we stand adjourned. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks.